and like it just never produces a result that's good, and it's never going to, because it's always like by definition creating an average of the things it's like taking for reference. So it's never going to make something new. It's never going to look great because it's stealing from someone or something else. And like it just I'm waiting for it to turn to everything into like a gray blob, because just by definition it's like it's eating itself, and it's going to slowly start using itself for reference until it just becomes this singular circle in the middle of the page or something. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for.
There's just going to be it'll be like the median of all generative. It's
just like the
its
average
database will be what it has already generated, and therefore, and if that's constantly reverting to the mean, then it will constantly revert to the mean of the mean.
Exactly.
until we get to this
what
like
I'm hoping happens.
End point where like it'll just be like as you said, maybe just grey blobs on a page. Hello, this is Wise Noise, the podcast about creative practice. I'm Pearse O'Halloran, graphic designer and owner of wiselove.studio, based in the northeast of Scotland. Welcome. I'm trying a new thing with the little hook there at the start, because that's what they do nowadays, isn't it? On the reels, they'll give you the sort of hook, the juice, the creamy center. They'll show that to you first. In our rapidly decreasing attention spans, which are about 2.7 milliseconds these days. But yeah, thought it was a neater way to open the pod. And it gives you a little teaser as to the quality of my guest, who is Fraser Robertson. Fraser is a designer and illustrator from Glasgow, or based in Glasgow rather. He's actually from up around these parts. But I first met Fraser on the Scottish Freelancers Slack channel, which kind of continues on a theme about these smaller communities popping up and using quality over quantity in the networking. So yeah, always a friendly voice on there, and we actually collaborated on a couple of projects, and he was excellent, and I'm a big fan of his artwork. So Fraser obviously works with clients to design packaging, but has a very strong shop element and sets up market stalls with his own illustrations and posters and zines and general cool stuff. He's just got a fantastic illustration style. As we find out, it's all largely based on the lost Disney classic Treasure Island. So yeah, I'm glad to sit down and chat to Fraser and get to the heart of his creative practice. We do go over some of his projects. So if you want to pop on to, let me look it up while I'm here. LostAstronaut.design is his website. So you can just go on there and check out his artwork as we speak. And before we get into the podcast, I want to encourage you all to sign up for the mailing list. The very first mailing list went out this week, Wise Mail. So you can find out about upcoming episodes and clips that I've put up on YouTube, as well as the goings on in the studio. I also plan to have some digital assets arriving soon in the Wise Love shop, and either discount codes or freebies to those. So yeah, generally, if you're enjoying these podcasts, do me a favor and get on to the wiselove.studio website. Down at the footer, there's a little box there to pop in your email and join the Wise Mail gang. To be first to help me cut through the voluminous noise of the various apps out there and get to the real juiciness of the Wise Noise podcast. Right, here's Fraser. See you all at the end. Yeah, so there's that fig
Yeah, she's we're just back from a walk, and she's like just had some lunch, and she's now just doing her like kind of zoomies, which is not the great timing, but she'll just crash out in
No.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Pug zoomies. That's quite the challenge for a podcast record.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's not usually not noisy. It's just kind of her like snuffling about and chewing things she's not meant to, so it'll be fine. I can put her away.
I kind of get like that in the afternoon myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you? How's your 2026 so far?
It's been good. It's been good. Yeah, it's been good. It was a bit of a chasing my tail. I like said yes to a few too many things kind of right off the bat, or the end of last year, and so kind of been a bit like, oh god, a bit too much. It's been fine. It's kind of like paced itself in a way that's been nice for the most part. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, it's been quite quiet, but it's fine. It's just it's helped me in that quiet period. I've been kind of moaning that I've been so busy all last year that I haven't had a chance to sort of update the website. So now is the time to end this. Now I finally get my wish.
Yeah.
It's just been just jobs here and there, no biggies, no major deadlines or anything. So it's been a nice kind of gentle start to the year. So I've just been one of the things was to always do a podcast. So here we are. So this is my one New Year's resolution coming true. But yeah, so we've met a few times at various design talks, etc. But I don't think I know your full backstory here, Fraser. So we're going to have we're going to dig in. When did you study illustration or design at college, and then went freelance from there, or worked a few jobs, or what's the career path?
Let's go for like the deep lore. So I came straight from high school. I went into a course at Duncan Jordanson in Dundee.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I finished school doing like art and techie and maths and English and something else. What was the other one? Something else. And then a couple of advanced hires and things. And so I was like, right. I'd always had an interest in like design of some form, but like at that high school level, it was like, there wasn't really kind of differentiation between those certain things, or like the different disciplines. It was just like design of some sort or art of some sort. So I've been to like a few of the open days and all that of like, is it communication design? Is it like product design? At one point I was like, my mom's a mathematician, my dad's a computer like engineer and kind of coding and things like that. So I've got that kind of technical mind. But I was kind of swayed towards like engineering of some form. There's like product design engineering and things. So there's a bit of a like technical sway there that kind of took my interest. But I ended up joining the course at DJCAD for like the general foundation year and trying a bit of everything. So you kind of do like just like broadly design, broadly art, and then you kind of specify to more specific disciplines if it was like, an illustration brief or like a kind of communication design brief or textiles or something like that. So it was kind of slowly narrowing down what you were like interested in over the year. And then when I looked back at the end of the year, everything I'd responded to was like all drawings. It was all illustration work. And so that was kind of fairly concrete, like, okay, I think that's what I'm going to do.
The signs were there.
In graphic design and like an interest in kind of typography and things like that, more from like the kind of GraphCom side of things. Which is much more rigid and like CAD modeling. And it was kind of all around those areas. There was something, but it wasn't quite kind of uniform what that was. But illustration seemed to fit the best. And yeah, so I did that and freelance for a few years. I graduated 2019. So I was kind of part-time freelancing and part-time job on the side, working in a wee cafe. And then the world stopped for a bit, like after I kind of just graduated, so it was like 6 months or so.
Wow.
I was like meant to fly out to Paris for like a little solo holiday, like my first real kind of solo holiday. That like weekend that COVID like struck, that didn't happen.
So you did go freelance straight from college into freelance, yeah? So you just started
playing. Yeah, I was
your wares straight away. Yeah. No, I'd say that's interesting because I was just talking to the other day about like, having to sort of get get into jobs and
Mm.
make your mistakes at somebody else's expense was one of the phrases that I remember Ken Garland used to talk about. But yeah, so that's fascinating. But I was also talking to Guy Peter that was on yesterday, and we were talking about that there's certain things you can't teach. You just have to go out and do. And sort of like, in college, there's a certain sort of bubble, and you just actually have to go and get stuck into real world projects and just learn how to swim.
Yeah, very much. Like I'd taken on a few little pieces of work and like small commissions and things that were more like album covers and like occasionally some like logos of friends of friends of family of friends and things like that. Like I think I even found like the first logo I got paid for like £100 was like just a logo is still being used.
Oh yeah,
and
great.
It's like it's not awful. It's pretty bad, but it's not awful.
Yeah.
I do think about kind of messaging them and being like, "You want to change that? Well, like change that up a bit."
Yeah, but yeah. So you were like a mix of sort of design and illustration jobs, and so when did I think it was just maybe about a year or so ago that Lost Astronaut came into being, and that's your new moniker.
Yeah. So I kind of used Lost Astronaut as my handle on Instagram since about second year of like uni. Just felt like a kind of thing to do. I don't know. There's a few people who kind of go under like monikers and things, but in terms of freelancing full time, this is the first time I've done it over the last year and a half. I've always kind of done it on the side of other jobs or other work. I did have one like kind of design role in a kind of social media marketing agency, and that's where I kind of got the majority of my like experience of design work. There's a lot of like kind of small local clients and things like that, but I didn't have much of a design portfolio in that sense, and through that kind of exposure of working with clients. So there was a bit of both. There was like a kind of sink or swim of doing my own thing through uni and a couple of years after, but that was much more like illustration work only. I would like sell at markets and fairs and met some connections through that. But then the other side was like, from that kind of slow burn of work, I had a few bits of design that kind of got into that wee position and kind of worked up from there. Mm-hmm. Then had another in-house role after that, and then that came to an end, and then I decided to freelance. So that's like the kind of trajectory. Just kind of wiggled around a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't think any career is a straight upward. No, most of them, when you kind of actually talk to people, there's like there's a few tangents and a few kind of alleyways kind of walk down unbeknownst. But yeah, I'm sure just as you were talking there, I kind of realized that gig with a marketing company, your speed in the software comes into all these kind of like shortcuts, and all these kind of skills in the software come into their own, because like, I suppose it's like a very fast paced environment,
Yeah, for sure.
And you started selling in your own work in like stalls and marketplaces as well, so that's quite a difference, especially when you kind of actually have to go out and stand there and sell your wares. So how's that progressed in terms of like your ability to stand at a stall and big yourself up?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love it. It's good fun. It's a weird kind of twist in the most recent markets that I was at were at like selling my own artwork, whereas the ones I'd done before were still my own artwork, but it was more like fan art for like kind of Comic Cons and things like that. Right, so there was like a smaller mix of like a few bits that were just my own thing. There's like a kind of the kind of university Comic Con, like Dundee's Decon. Yeah. And so I sold at that for a few years. So I just found it really fun, like kind of connecting with folk and same kind of interests and hobbies and video games and, media and things like that. So it's quite nice to like connect with people there. But in terms of like jumping into like other markets and stuff, it's kind of very, very different selling your own personal work. It feels like a bit kind of weird and like vulnerable, but also like really nice when people are like, "Oh, I love this so much!" Like it really resonates with me. It's like, it's really nice. So it's like kind of weird leaning to the artist side of things of the illustration more than like the design business side of it.
Yeah, there was something quite nice. Well, it was a bit, there's a sort of the full emotional gamut I found, because there's a part of me was like, I think my first few stalls that I ran in, like, Stornoway to sell some of the loom stuff. Like,
Mm.
when you first showed up and there's like hardly anybody about, and you're there, like, and you've put so much time and effort to set the stall up, and
Yeah,
you kind of feel like a tool. You just kind of go, oh God, what am I doing? Like,
I just
but
got like,
then, yeah, you feel like, just, I don't know, just nobody's coming up. No, like, there's hardly anybody kind of coming in and whatever. So it's just like, it feels a bit deflating. But then, like, when people do start coming up and when you actually start making your first few sales, and as you said, it's a lot of the appreciation you have for your work just comes like online. But when you can actually see people's faces light up as they're kind of
yeah,
looking at your work, there's like a massive gratitude in that. And I do remember because mine was like really colorful, and I was just kind of, so people would turn around and they go, ooh. I could just actually physically, some people kind of just actually make an audible, ooh,
yeah,
wow, this is lovely.
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, cool.
Are
I,
you good?
yeah. Did you have were you fairly proactive in terms of like talking to people as they went round, or did you just kind of sit behind your desk and read a book?
Definitely depends on the kind of energy, I think, of the venue. Like if it's quite slow and sleepy,
Yeah,
then it's kind of you just kind of you don't want to like harass people, but at the
yeah.
same time, if it's a bit more like alive, it's quite easy to just like I don't know. I always find myself recycling the same words and feel like a bit like a robot. You're just like,
Hmm.
oh, feel free, like have a rake through things, like get your hands in there, just dig around and like have a look, and you just say the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah. The
It's like a
script.
weird like adrenaline rush. I don't know. It's just very bizarre. Like yeah, it's a very weird thing. I find it very exhausting. Like once you're done, you're just totally like gubbed, and you're just like, what the hell happened? It's like a total fever
Yeah.
dream for the most part.
Yeah, especially if it's busy. Like I used to have a
Yeah.
thing, like one of the things I've learned is that having freebies on your stall, that like,
Mm,
um because I would actually just have like these postcards with some of my artwork that were like, pennies, but I was just kind of like flyers, just put them out and says, oh, do you want a free postcard? Do you want a free
mm,
It was just kind of like, it would hook people in because like, you sort of generate a conversation then. And it was like,
yeah.
as I found as well, it was like a good way of not just actually selling the products there, but getting people sort of hooked in terms of like getting onto the shop. And like I would actually see
Yeah.
an increase in online sales in my shop like a few days after, because people have
Mm,
probably looked at it, kind of went like, oh, couldn't decide then. But then
yeah.
maybe kind of come back and they get themselves on the mailing list or whatever, and then they're kind of future purchasers down the line. So it was just
Uh,
I found that it's a good way of just actually advertising what you do rather than just plainly about like actual getting the units shifted.
yeah, for sure. I know I really need to kind of it's the one side I kind of not neglect, but I really just sell at the markets as opposed to like pushing like more of an online thing. Like I do have the online store, but don't
Hmm.
tend to push it as much. But that's like the whole how much can you be arsed with social media situation. Like it's enough to just like keep up to date with like work and case studies and that as well as doing like running a shop.
Yeah,
So
because that's the thing with the online kind of stuff. It's like that actual selling, the marketing of the stuff is like,
mm,
it just, or else it'll sit there dormant. So yeah, mailing lists I find are really good because like,
mm,
you have a sort of captive audience. And I've just experienced from my time in Loom that like, uh, we used to have like a mailing list and just send it out, and I would always like every time I sent out a mailing list, there was always orders come in off the back of it, and I put little discounts or whatever, but you had to kind of keep that up.
yeah,
And we would often kind of get busy with the actual client side design work, and you're like, all right, it's not as though you're just going to sit there and it's automatically like the sales are going to pour in. There's actually, you have to
yeah,
put the hours in to kind of like keep gardening the kind of as you said, the socials and all that kind of
mm,
stuff. So yeah, it does take that. You think like, oh, I'll just make this illustration and then like I'll make loads of money. But it's like,
Yeah, let the
yeah,
people flock. Let them come.
let them come. But it's like it's a full-time job. The sort of the sales and marketing that goes behind running an online shop. You know, so
Absolutely.
you kind of have to
maybe one day it'll be an arm I'll figure out a bit more of in some point in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So yeah, I maybe are you aware of the phrase "to blow smoke up your arse"?
I am. I am indeed.
Good. It's I don't. I'm bringing it back. I'm gonna
I support it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a new expression for 2026. But yeah, so
the tagline of the podcast. You know, blow smoke up your arse, or the.
Yeah, this is my. But basically, to lightly massage your ego for a bit, and we're going to chat about like projects that on your site that I really, really like. And I would just get the backstory of this, and I find this quite interesting because there's sometimes you do sort of see the shiny portfolio work, but when you kind of get into the gritty detail, you know, sometimes there's been a few, I would say horror stories, but it wasn't as like smooth or as linear a process as you would kind of make out on the website. And yeah, there's some challenges along the way. So Lost in Sauce. So this was a project for Closet Brewing, a classic hazy IPA called Lost in Sauce. So they got you to do some illustration packaging work for their IPAs, yeah?
Yeah. It's actually a really funny story. This one is they weren't planning on redoing the label at all. So it actually just kind of come off the back of a kind of pitching and like outreach course. Just like a wee thing to kind of refresh and kind of feel a bit more confident in like pitching new work to clients, how to be a bit more strategic with it. And just took a stab. I'd seen a friend of mine had collaborated with them, and it was kind of the first time I'd really encountered them. They're like a really tiny, like micro or nano brewery, I think they call themselves, based in Queensferry, kind of near Edinburgh. So I just shot them an email one day and was like, hey, I've seen you've worked with a friend of mine, would love to work with you guys. You seem really cool. Here's some of my work, you know, let me know if it ever sounds good. And they came back with an email like within maybe like 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, this is really fucking spooky. Your branding is obviously Lost Astronaut. We're about to start brewing in 2 or 3 days' time our like long standing beer Lost in the Sauce, which has an astronaut on the can already.
Right,
we weren't planning on redoing the label, but it just feels so weirdly fated. Like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, what's the brief? What's the vibe? And so that just started the conversation from there. And yeah, so like there wasn't loads of room for like changing the imagery. Obviously, they want to stick with the astronaut on the can itself. But within that, they were just like a total free reign. You know, they were very honest about like the terms of use. Like, it's still my image, and licensing it is like I can print stickers, prints. It's still my artwork. Just don't use it for another beer. Just because they're obviously such a small business, it wasn't like a massive fee or anything. So like there was kind of catering there to, you know, produce merch and things like that. So, but they were absolute like delight to work with, and they loved it as soon as I sent like the first kind of concepts for it, which I don't think I've really got there. There's some sketches there, but
it's got sketches there.
I need to put in the other concepts kind of on that wee case study page.
That's all right.
Yeah, they loved it.
Amazing, man. Yeah, so it was like a home run. I love the serendipity there. that was just like it was kind of like, it was almost like, well, we have to give you the label artwork job now.
Yeah, it was like you Lost totally Astronaut hand here.
Your whole branding is catered towards that. I had a similar thing when I went to speak to Harris. I just set up like a Loom graphics and based on the island, and I went to see Harris Tweed Hebrides, and they were like, okay. I was like, by the way, I've changed my name to Loom, and they were like, well, it's fate that you work with Harris Tweed. So yeah, similar. But this Lost in the Sauce then, is this the actual text here? Is this like a little bit of dribbly ink thing going on?
It's actually sriracha sauce.
Sriracha sauce. Okay, wow. Yeah, I
So it
love
gives you a
that,
really
man.
nice kind of like chunky. It
Gloopy.
doesn't like run away from you too much. Um,
Sriracha.
so
Amazing.
that did the job, and I've actually used that on a couple of other pieces since, because it just seemed to work so well. Just in terms of like just experimenting and trying things. I've been leaning a bit more into like hand drawn type and kind of more playful, like just typography kind of things that are not super like rigid. As much as I respect it, I've never really understood the full like the very tight geometry and very like specific. I've never studied typography in like a proper book sense.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's total vibes based science for me. It's like
So, but yeah, sometimes that stuff is the ignorance is sometimes really good, you
it's
know.
worked so far.
It works so far, yeah. Because I remember like David Carson, who's like one of my favorite graphic designers, but I think he just kind of he didn't go to any classic design courses, but he just started like designing and just was like he didn't realize that he was breaking loads of rules in terms of like not having grids or whatever.
Yeah,
And so and then he's kind of invented this whole kind of genre of graphic design. But yeah, so sometimes ignorance is bliss in that front, but I do love that, and I do love the kind of trend towards like the anti-AI movement kind of going on. So people are kind of tending towards things that look a little bit more off kilter and a little bit more have mistakes and drips and all that kind of stuff that are actually, there's a bigger need to actually show people like, I actually drew this with my own actual hand.
Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears are involved in this artwork.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
a really interesting article.
Gives it more weight. Yeah, no, I'm talking too much. I'm going to I'm going to move on as well because speaking of that, there's the Dripstone project as well. So this is really nice. And speaking of like handmade type, there's a really lovely kind of word mark you've kind of got going on here and a suite of illustrations to go. So this is the full brand for brewing, small brewers then.
Yeah. So it was this is just a wee kind of concept project that I did from just a kind of portfolio boosting course with Inky Goodness.
Okay.
Again, it's going to be a bit kind of strategic with like what are the gaps or kind of areas in my portfolio that I really want to like show off and make an excuse for and do like a kind of personal led project. And I'd been brewing my own ginger beer, and it's like really, really easy to do. And I've always kind of wanted to put some packaging together for it. So obviously after working with the Closet Brewing guys, it was just like I was really enjoying that kind of format of like beer labels and kind of playing with that a bit more. But also to try and tie in a bit of branding and illustration and just fit all those things into one nice little package. So yeah, it was just kind of good fun. I think it kind of started from with me brewing my own ginger beer in a wee cupboard in our kitchen. It just felt very like basement brewed, very budget, like kind of little goblin hidden away in a little closet somewhere, like making ginger beer. Especially because it's all like natural fermentation and things. It's just like whatever grubs on the ginger is making the beer happen. So just kind of went with this really kind of earthy, kind of botanical, natural feeling thing that was quite kind of gritty and textured. And it kind of led into this like alchemy kind of vibe. And that kind of led me on to like the gargoyles and kind of stone and the kind of old like stone built breweries and things like that. So it was just a very like visual thing in my head, and it was just kind of taking out all the pieces and seeing how they all kind of fit together. I'm really, really chuffed with it. I think this is one of my like favorite pieces of work that I've maybe done ever.
Yeah, no, and absolutely, I love how it does all tie together. In the illustration, yeah, because like sometimes. And I love how you're actually doing the word marks yourself, and because sometimes I do sort of see brand projects where there's beautiful illustration, but the word mark or the sort of typography doesn't really, they're a little bit not exactly kind of married together. There's a maybe too like the illustration might be quite quirky, and then the actual typeface itself is quite. It sometimes feels as though it's an afterthought.
It's kind of quite clean or doesn't quite care in the same way. Yeah,
Yeah, and you sometimes have maybe illustrators who will kind of go, "Oh, I'll just plonk in a sort of logo here," or whatever. It's kind of
Right.
like, it's the same way. Whatever your discipline is the other one is an afterthought. But yeah, I love how the two of those kind of marry up, and it's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to have a look at some of your illustration work to give an example of the kind of things that you sell in
Mhm.
on the stall. So there's like a really nice risograph print, and
Yeah,
I
the
think it
majority of
should,
it's Fraser,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
I just love it. It's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, just this, and I think it really shows off your illustration style. So in terms of that, your illustration style, who's kind of your influences going on? Well, to me, there's a certain, there's a little bit of the 2000 AD kind of like comic book style that I really loved, where it was like slightly chaotic and like, really heavily
Hmm.
detailed on some stuff. But yeah, who's your illustration influences?
Man, that's a hard one. I don't know. It's a weird one. I kind of just find a lot of like just illustrators on like Instagram and things that tend to just kind of fall. It tends to be a lot of like concept artists and like visual development artists for like film and TV and like animation and things. So
Hmm.
I mean, like early like kind of Disney Pixar films for like when I was a child, I was just totally captivated by them. You know, the ones that were really like immersive. Usually
Hmm.
the ones that are like the Treasure Planet and Atlantis are like two of my all time favorite films, and they're just
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
just phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
And that's like a whole other thing on like how they were just totally screwed over because of their like lack of marketing budgets. But anyway, um,
Uh-huh.
but like that kind of comic books and things like that as well are just I don't know. I don't really know where to put my like inspirations from. Recently, I found the work of, or not recently anymore, but Mobius, the kind of French illustrator,
Oh yeah,
and that kind
yeah.
of French sci-fi illustration. Um, there's an artist who is he Spanish? I can't remember. Danny Diaz. He's a
All
kind
right.
of character-led, like concept art and visual development artist. Um, it's all just kind of very character-focused and kind of exploring, you know, queerness and sci-fi and fantasy and just otherworldliness. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know who my direct inspirations are. I'm just going to take a lot of bits from a lot of people and just kind of
Yeah,
absorb it all.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's, I suppose, the best way is to actually just slightly cherry pick from different influences. I mean, Jamie Hewlett is another one where I would kind of think it's in that sort of same mode. Because I remember like Tank Girl from back in the day.
Mm,
Yeah, that was amazing. And he's worked with gorillas and stuff like that, where
mm-hmm,
these characters, where they're like the outfit that they're wearing and the kind of little bits of accessories and all that, kind of build up the sort of you tend to get the full kind of weird personality coming through from those.
mm-hmm.
So this boys project, was this a self-initiated thing where you were just exploring sort of like maybe queer culture?
Yeah, yeah. So it was a bit of that. It was mostly just I found a lot of like drawing characters. I was drawing a lot of the same poses, and
Uh,
so I was trying to challenge myself to put a bit of personality across and try and play with different poses, just things that aren't just like standing or kind of like a three-quarter turn. Um, and then also just kind of exploring like the whole project is kind of like a one of each color to kind of form obviously like a big rainbow
yeah, yeah,
of kind of queer boys. So
yeah.
um,
And
yeah,
and is it like a kind of humorous play on like the sort of stereotypical kind of gay men that you would find in the scene type of thing?
not necessarily. Like I don't know. I just kind of just started drawing. Like I just picked a color and then just went with that. Like there really wasn't much thought behind it, to be honest.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I kind of always meant to try and turn it into like a little zine or something,
Uh-huh.
or kind of do a little bit more with it. But unfortunately, all those like really bright colors will just never print how you ever want them to. So it kind of died a little death that way. But I still quite like it as like a little artwork.
Cool.
Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
no,
think
it's
at the
great.
time I've been trying a lot of the work I used to do when I was freelancing as an illustrator was like tabletop role playing things, so like D&D adjacent. Um, so there's a little publisher who was called Dungeons on a Dime, but is now called Stout Stoked Press. Um,
Okay.
and they produced like little story modules for D&D. So it was kind of like a preset story with some characters, kind of narrative beats for a dungeon master or the person like leading you through the game, or the players through the game, and kind of little snippets of like a mystery or like a problem to solve or a dungeon or something. Um, and so we're doing a lot of like character artworks, and I think that's where I kind of found that I was sticking to a lot of the same kind of poses or things like that. And that kind of project was an extension of that, like not doing fantasy characters, maybe doing people who are more real
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah.
Riffed it
But
out of my brain.
but yeah, taking sort of the fantastical element of the style, but applying them to real world people,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you kind of get inspired by other zine artists, and while you're standing there at the stall, probably like, there's probably other people in the same room that you're like, wow, really love this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I was really lucky to have like a very diverse class as well in our like illustration class. Like, we had a lot of really like fantastic artists. Everybody was doing something very, very different. I think our year was really quite a broad spectrum.
Wow.
So it was like just nice to, inspired by my pals.
Yeah, but a nice little mixing pot. You're all kind of influencing other melting pot. Yeah. I've got a show. I've just for the purposes of the record, I'm going to show the bingo wheel. But we kind of, did you hear that? That's the really noise of the balls coming out. So to save our ears, I think in these latter episodes, I've just been pre-rolling some balls. Okay, so as we said before, your destiny is already decided. You're locked in. So I'm just gonna throw out some numbers from the bingo wheel of wisdom. I really have a little kind of jingle like it's the bingo wheel of wisdom, something like that. That'll do.
It needs no more, nothing on top. It's perfect as it is.
Yeah, I just swivel around the chair and then I just turn around. I'm in the tux.
You need like a visual reveal or something, and a big microphone.
Yeah, no, absolutely, full Bob Monkhouse on it. Right, okay, let's. Well, I have the numbers here. 27. Cat or dog?
Dog.
Well, obviously, with Fig in the earshot, I think she would kind of go cracked if she heard the word cat. Yeah, I'm a dog guy too.
I have a cat as well. I probably should be like, oh, they're both. I love them both.
I'm a dog man as well. We were on the island. We had like 2 cats. They were fine. I was fairly interested in them. Fair. But I never really connected with them as much as I do with a dog. So I don't know.
A little creature that'll give you a cuddle. It's just it can't be.
Yeah, they're they were like they're such kind of independent creatures. They're like anyway. I just find them very manipulative, slightly. That they're only. Yeah. It's like anytime they would come over for a cuddle, I would just kind of my first response would be, "What do you want?"
Yeah. Very much like there's always an ulterior motive.
Yeah. Whereas the dog, like I used to, when we came home, the dog used to actually just bolt to the door and just be like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you." I'll be like, yeah. There's no hidden agenda with a dog. 10. Can you cook?
I can cook. Yes,
that's a bit of an open. But do you enjoy cooking then?
I actually do. I love it. I find it actually weirdly quite relaxing. Like my partner tends to come home from work and is all like stressed out, and it's like the last thing he wants to do is cook.
Yeah. And you're like the little whiz in the kitchen.
Yeah. Although it's like so I've been kind of veggie vegan adjacent for years now.
Yeah.
So it's like I was quite enjoying a lot of like plant-based cooking and just figuring that out and like figuring out recipes and bastardizing them into something that's definitely not anywhere close to what they would be, but I wouldn't know any better at this point.
Well, that's the thing about how you actually get into become better at cooking, is that you start following recipes, and then after a while you just sort of kind of like take wing it, yeah, take the basics of it, and then kind of like swap a few spices out and start to get a bit experimental, and that's where the real fun starts to come in. What's your signature dish then?
Oh man, signature dish. I do make a mean vegan chili.
Oh,
that's
lovely.
like, it's a good staple.
Yeah. Especially,
Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. That's a good staple, and it's like it's always solid. I make a vegan mac and cheese. There's no cheese in it, not even a fake cheese or anything. It's just like butternut squash, roasted and like blended up with some other odds and ends.
For real?
Showstopper every time, every like party, like potluck. It's like the showstopper. That's my 10 out of 10 meal.
I need to get that recipe off you, man, because I'll
send it to you. Don't worry.
Because I'd be veggie vegan adjacent as well. You know, I'm almost nearly vegan, I would say, except for the fact that like cheese is my sort of like I'm just too weak-willed to give up cheese. And then you go, but there's vegan cheeses. No, there's not. There's not.
They're absolutely shite. They're so bad.
So bad. Like, I just think if you're going vegan, then that means you have to give up cheese. I'm sorry, there's no alternative there. Because it's like I've been to like all these vegan fairs, and anytime I try it, like even like gourmet vegan cheese, I was like, this still tastes like feet.
Yeah, it's never bueno. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I've learned to live without it for the most part. Like, I'll cave occasionally, but not that often. It's more just the fear now of dairy that actually I've been so long without it that I'm just like, it's just not worth any potential repercussions. I'm just like,
yeah, no, man. I just, yeah, absolutely. I just, I've completely given up on the whole dairy milk, especially like when, and that's it when I actually have to sort of go out and about and you're like, I just put like dairy milk into my tea, and I'm like, oh god, this is so creamy now. It just it just seems so like rich and like, you know, too much. But anyway, welcome to the we're slowly turning into a vegan cooking podcast.
That's great. That's good for me.
That's fine for me. I'm pivoting. 46. One item on your bucket list.
Oh, one item on my bucket list. I would love to visit anywhere in Asia. I've never been to that side of the world.
Wow.
I'm really not fussed. I think it's just
anywhere.
I know it's like very broad. Like maybe just tour the whole of Asia. That would be great.
Yeah.
Like, or live abroad and travel. Like, I've never worked and lived abroad anywhere. I think that would be quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, like there is a thing. I kind of missed the boat because slightly it was slightly in an era when remote working and all that wasn't as popular, and and then once that became popular, I already had kids, so it wasn't an option. But I do know people who are like digital nomads, and they will go off for like a month, and you have these places now where you can actually just kind of you can book a place and it actually has like a working hub and desk and Wi-Fi and in these fairly exotic places, and I'm like super jealous.
Yeah, it does sound lush.
Yeah, it does sound lush.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah, maybe at some point. Yeah, so but yeah, cool. Asia, anywhere in Asia. That's a pretty open-ended.
It's so broad. Like I just.
That's all right.
Yeah,
it's cool. I've been to Nepal. That was like one Asian place I've been to, and it was phenomenal. So yeah. The culture shock of it all as well is like, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just broadly just that whole side of the world is just a totally different. It's just the culture shock. It's just such a different pace.
Yeah.
It'd be quite enjoyable to
be in amongst it. Yeah. Probably feel a little bit out of your comfort zone. 22. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh God. Oh, Christ. Oh, I have a list on my phone somewhere, but I don't know where it's on.
You have a karaoke list?
I get so like stressed out at the idea of like picking karaoke songs, but the one that I did the one that's jumping to my head at the moment is oh, was it the Four Non Blondes?
I
Hey,
said, hey.
yeah, that one. But then the last time I did it, there was a lot of like
what's
oohs
going
and
on?
ahs.
Yeah.
What's going on? There we go. There's a lot of oohs and ahs that I don't remember there being in the song,
Right.
and
Okay.
so like there's just a lot of silent parts where they're meant to be going ooh ahs, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Wow, nice.
Like, hold on, here we go. Here's my phone. Let me see if I've
What
got my.
you actually have a list,
I do, because I get so stressed out with the idea of picking something.
man.
I started writing it when I was drunk. That it's spelled Kwraoke. So I spelled karaoke wrong to begin with.
Karaoke.
Karaoke.
Yeah.
Murder on the Dance Floor.
Nice.
So Carlos Baxter. Sound of the Underground, Grows Aloud. What we got? You're So Vain. Love Shack, B-52s.
Oh,
Poker Face,
banger.
Lady Gaga. Thanks for the Memories, Fall Out Boy. Man, I Feel Like a Woman, Shania Twain. There's quite a list here.
Wow.
So I won't bore you with them all.
Wow. You actually have like I can't believe you actually have a list of just prepared going into the karaoke. Oh my God, quickly, where's my list? 16.
Without telling me.
Yeah. 16, Instagram or Pinterest?
Oh man.
Do I have to choose?
Instagram? Yeah, I use Instagram so much, but I'm a little slut for Pinterest. I like. Oh, I have like so disgustingly so many boards on there that I've never looked back on. But I just there's something so satisfying about just like collecting everything and just feeling like it's being organized.
Yeah. Squirreling away all these precious images.
I'm gonna say like Pinterest is slightly more productive. I feel Instagram is just like my soul's being like taken away from me.
Yeah, man, I do feel a little bit like that. Where I get more and more of that feeling like what was it when Christopher Columbus went to America and it was like the native Indians and they didn't want to look into a mirror because it was like it felt as though it was like part of your soul was been like taken every time.
Yeah, I feel
because
that. Strong parallel there.
And you kind of, I remember like reading that in history, kind of going, "Whoa, that's totally mad!" Like, you know, kind of how backward are they, or like, you know, that kind of thinking in terms of like, you know, no logic applied to it. But now I kind of get that feeling. You know?
Yeah.
I think there's like
Mirror, and you're like,
Black Mirror. Yeah. You're given a little bit like anytime I kind of have put a query into ChatGPT or whatever, I'm like, oh God, I can feel it. I can feel a tiny part of me being taken away by the giant mirror, by the giant black mirror. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the kind of feeling I get when I'm using some of these services, quote unquote services. Yeah. They're harvesting my soul for their data mines. Favorite movie of all time? Oh wait, what? I have to do the official 52. Okay. Favorite movie of all time ever?
I think it has to be Treasure Planet, the animated Treasure Planet.
Wow,
it's just such a like core piece of me. I just love it to bits. It's just like the world building, the characters, the story, the visual. It's just phenomenal. Like I was just totally captured by that as a kid, and I never not will be. Never not will be. Will never.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have to share like an image board of this because, like, to be honest,
to be fair, I think I also just fancied Jim Hawkins, like the main character. I think, like as a young, not
a crush.
Like not understanding like that I was a gay man. Probably just had a crush on
You're like, yeah. Wow. Because I'm not like yeah, it's amazing because like it is a Disney film, but like it's one of those kind of like deep cuts, a Disney deep cut.
Yeah, so, it was like that kind of, honestly, that era of like that Atlantis and what are the other ones? There's a few others that are like just of that era. Just the character design of them all is so interesting as well, and like they just were really like high concept, like just totally different to any other Disney film. They were just so stylized and just like they were just beautiful. I think that like specifically the style of the Atlantis stuff, like that's
Yeah,
like how I
yeah,
draw like arms and hands. It's like very geometric almost, and like
yeah. I can see that
a
now.
lot of
Actually, that's
inspiration
a
from
good
them.
reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, man. Because I'm always trying to find good stuff to my eldest daughter is 13 now, so she's kind of progressed away and is like wanting to get to 15s kind of films and more interested in getting into slightly scarier films. But the
Sure.
10-year-old is still kind of like, let's
Yeah, it's
let's
not there
watch
yet.
animation. So I might like crack out the old
They're phenomenal.
Atlantis and Treasure Island. She's a mad comic book fan as well. So
Oh,
I think she would. I'll try and engage her with that and set her
yeah.
off on her own little illustration career.
Hell yeah. If she's not obsessed with it, then I'm severely disappointed. So no.
This-
Just setting that like expectation out there right now.
yeah, she might kind of have a crush on Jim Hawkins as well.
That's fine. That's fine. I understand. I
Yeah,
get it.
you relate. You hard relate there. 29. Last thing you bought online.
Oh Christ.
Is that a bit? Is this a bit revealing?
I don't know. Do subscriptions count? Because it's probably like dog food.
Dog food subscription. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or no, you know what it is? It's this. I got a tripod for like recording shit
Oh yeah.
in this little studio space.
Oh yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
I just don't put it down anymore. Like it does compact right down into like a nice little
Yeah.
situation.
Lovely.
So quite handy.
Very handy.
I'm going to
Yeah.
chase that because I have no idea. I really don't buy that much.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a like frugal
Yeah.
person that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to be frugal. I was actually thinking about. I haven't actually made New Year's resolutions. I kind of don't. One of the things for me is that I did this kind of meditation a while back, but it was like he was just it was this like lovely Indian guy, and he was just I won't do the voice because I'll get cancelled. But he was like, just make yourself 1% better. I was about to do the voice and all, but like,
I wasn't going to stop you, but
just tomorrow, just make yourself 1% better. Just make yourself 1% better. And I kind of like, and I kind of stuck with me in terms of like, it's like when I do a meditation in the morning or like in the evening or whatever, I will just kind of, one of those little things will pop up. Just look, today's been like really rubbish or whatever. Tomorrow I'll just be 1%. I can do that.
yeah.
I'm not going to completely change my life tomorrow, but I can make that little mental effort.
Oh, I really like that. That's really nice.
So instead of making New Year's resolutions, it's almost this little daily promise to go like 1% better, So by order of mass, over 100 days, you're going to make yourself 100% better.
Yeah. Surely at this point, like, when did you start this? Because like, surely you're like 3,000, percent better than the Pearse that was, however many, I don't know. That's that's like 10 years or something. That's crazy.
The thing I didn't count on is that some days I go back minus 200%.
Sure. Okay, so maybe like a total increase of like.
Yeah. I'm still in a net loss from when I started it. Anyway, I think I'm going to make this point, and then we're going to get onto the heavy dessert menu.
Sure.
Yeah, I kind of forgetting what I was going on about. 1% better New Year's resolution. Back to the plot of like buying things online is second, like not to buy anything new. Because I've seen that there was I read an article about this guy who's like the whole year just went without buying anything new. Obviously, food and stuff like that, but like in terms of clothing, like furniture, all these things, it was like all trying to do like secondhand shopping or like these thrift stores or like buy, swap, sell kind of things, And I was like, I thought to myself, maybe that could be my thing for the New Year's. It's like do the whole year just trying to, one, be a bit more, you would naturally be a bit more frugal because like you're obviously not going to spend as much on shiny new things. Plus as well the environmental thing, but just to try and change that way of thinking and just kind of like, anyway.
No, I'm totally on board with it because like I'm pretty much exactly the same. Like partly out of necessity, like me and my partner moved in together, and we both had like enough stuff to fill a flat. We also furnished the rest of the flat just like secondhand from like Facebook Marketplace and things like that. It's all like pretty decent stuff. And he also loves like going down to the charity shops and things down where we live, and there's just like a whole fleet of them that, I don't know, he's got some like mystical power that he can just manifest what he wants and it just appears. Like there's been nights out or themed nights out that we've gone on for like friends' birthdays and things, and he's got an outfit in mind, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go down to the charity shop and see what I can find, and just finds exactly that. And It's like witchcraft. I don't understand how he does it, but yeah, we like really only buy secondhand for the most part. I just try and not order off of like Amazon and things if I can help it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like, feel quite good for it. But also Scotland is petty because everything's fucking expensive.
That's the only. Yeah, no. Sometimes
year and moving in together and all that was like great, but it's also spenny. So.
No, we've been like obviously moving this year as well, and absolutely Facebook Marketplace I'm becoming, especially that last few months of the island. I was just like chucking everything up on Facebook Marketplace, and now that we're the other side now, we're like moving in, so I'm like creating marketplaces around. We found an amazing dining table that's going to work perfectly, and it's like 200 quid, but it's probably
I almost
worse.
find it more satisfying. Because the chances of the perfect thing rocking up are so much lower. Yeah.
But anyway, all aboard the second hand or the they don't call it pre-loved. I think that's what they've marketed us. Yeah, because second hand sounds like really a little bit shoddy and disgusting. Yeah. Pre-loved items. That's marketing for you, huh? So have you perused the heavy dessert menu?
I have indeed, and I must say, what a range of delicacies you have on here.
Yeah, let me pull up. I don't know why it always. I was actually quite efficient this time. It's normally a bit of a struggle trying to find the heavy dessert menu. So on the heavy dessert menu, we have how to price your work, the AI elephant in the room, red flags of a nightmare client, specialist versus generous, self-promotion without the ick, avoiding burnout, your design and how to sell it, things they never tell you about in design courses.
Man, I have sat with this like for quite a bit.
Okay.
A hard range of questions.
Well, it doesn't have to be like a TED talk. So, we could just kind of chat about like both our takes on one of the topics. Although one of the things is that like I've kind of had a few episodes before and some folk are choosing the same subject. So I feel as though like there's some of the subjects where I'm like, I kind of don't have any more else to say.
Sure. I mean, if you want to, I'll give you like a veto or two. If I pick something, you're like, nope, done that. I'm out of juice.
No, I'm out of juice. No, I'm good. You open menu. It's all everything. The chef will prepare anything you want.
Sure. I mean, have you hit the AI elephant? I feel like that's one that I'm more inclined to.
Let's go. Let's crack open the AI.
Let's put this elephant into
chat.
It's not very vegan of me, but
so we're let's eat this elephant metaphorically. So where are you at with the AI? Tell me.
I just fucking hate it.
You hate it.
I fucking hate it. It's like the worst thing. It's peak capitalism at its worst. I just wish it would stop. We should stop getting shoved down my throat. I feel guilty and aware every time it appears that I've just like poured out 10 bottles of water, that I've like killed a tree that a poor little monkey was living in. Like I just feel such a weight of like ethical like badness that it exists. And I hate it.
And there you go. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
The
end.
But like, it's such a tricky one because I don't know. I think the thing for me is like as an artist as well. It's specifically the generative AI thing is just so stupid and wasteful, and like it just never produces a result that's good, and it's never going to, because it's always like by definition creating an average of the things it's like taking for reference. So it's never going to make something new. It's never going to look great because it's stealing from someone or something else. And like it just I'm waiting for it to turn to everything into like a gray blob, because just by definition it's like it's eating itself, and it's going to slowly start using itself for reference until it just becomes this singular circle in the middle of the page or something. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for.
There's just going to be it'll be like the median of all generative. It's its database will be what it has already generated, and therefore, and if that's constantly reverting to the mean, then it will constantly revert to the mean of the mean.
Exactly.
until we get to this like
hoping happens
end point where like it'll just be like as you said, maybe just gray blobs on a page. And we will have destroyed most natural resources on the planet just to get to that point.
Like, what's it for? What's it worth?
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, and like I for full transparency, like I have used ChatGPT a few times. Like I've had a good handful of times for like text-based stuff. I've never generated an image yet, and I don't intend to.
Right. Okay.
I just don't even want to like touch it because it just gives me the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe that's me just being stubborn and like maybe just not embracing technology or something, but I just don't see the point in it. Like I can create an image myself in my own way. I don't feel the need for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I do find interesting is people using it for like mock-ups and things. And I get it. And I get it for kind of pre-visualizing something kind of quickly, but then it kind of defeats the point of like, if you can't sell an idea to someone through sketches and talking to them, and like, you know, if it needs to be a beautiful, stunning, generated thing to sell someone something, they just care about the visuals and not anything behind it. And I just find that like incredibly soulless.
I'm down with it. Yeah, totally down with it, because I'm trying to think of counterpoints in terms of like trying to play slightly devil's advocate and kind of put forward positives. I mean, and I'm just trying to think of my own experience in terms of like, I obviously did kind of like jump into it and played around with Mid-Journey and all that kind of stuff. Never ever anywhere near, as you said, coming anywhere near something that I would use in any sort of final image for a project. And even that way of like, I had a client and we were discussing stock and AI, and I was just like 100%, let's never go there, just because of the inauthentic nature of them. Like as in, even before AI came along, with product photography or with photography for companies where you were doing like, I would always encourage like the obvious thing was to go to stock imagery, and I would just kind of keep pushing in the fact, can we increase the budget, maybe get some actual shots done, you know? And this was just stock photography. This was just like actually humans going out taking photographs of other humans, but just kind of, it was slightly more generic. So, but I was still even at that, which was actually range in some sort of authentic thing, that it's an actual photograph taken by an actual person. So even stock photography looks far more genuine than AI stuff now. Like I was still always pushing for the fact of like, let's actually get some of the staff in the actual uniforms. Let's get people who are working on site, or if it's a product, let's get actual photographs of the product and not kind of rely on sort of like 3D stuff or whatever, like, you know, just or real world context or that kind of way, where like, especially if it's a Scottish brand and you can actually tell that it's in Glasgow or Edinburgh or like somewhere in Scotland, rather than like, you know,
makes a whole lot of difference.
Generic Californian sky kind of thing. All these things kind of point towards like, this is the real thing. And and more as people go on, that's like one of the key things to a brand, because what you're trying to counteract is just like people are very wary of everything they see online. So you're trying to counteract as much as possible to go, no, we're telling the truth. We're 100%.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
This is weird. Like, where like, I think I actually saw someone's like a 3D render of something the other day, and like immediately just was like, that's AI, it's generated by AI. And then saw it actually was like someone working really hard in Cinema 4D. And I was like, oh God, I feel awful. Someone's put all this like hard work into it, but it just looks like airbrushed. And I just hate the like, the feeling of it, that it's just like it's making you doubt everything. I just think it's such a slippery slope. Because it's like either wanting everybody to like do the whole like work fast and cheap and good, whatever the three, like, you know, that triangle of the iron triangle. And it's such a slippery slope to like, you literally can't have all three. Like one of these things has got to go. And like holding everybody to that standard, this kind of allows that.
I'm fascinated because like that, it's like things are rapidly changing so much, as I kind of hinted at there, in terms of like far more kind of behind the scenes videos. Like I feel now as though like you can't just put up the work in of itself. You have to sort of show sketches and move, but you have to kind of like almost
have the original sketch to prove it.
Prove it. It was actually done. And that's so weird, you know. It's just like, you know, the default that this was made by a human is kind of that's long
in question.
Absolutely. So that's kind of eroding, and that's a definite negative. There was even like, I watched this YouTube tutorial because I was just interested in terms of like, can you actually make anything good out of this? And it was this YouTube tutorial. There was this guy who like had worked advertising for brands, and he was like making an advert for Beats headphones in like 15 minutes or whatever. And and he was like showing all these kind of like AI tools to generate the ideas for the things, and then he was like going off. I forget, was it Google VO or something? One of the AI models that they're like all fawning over, and I like the actual mood board or the sort of storyboard that it came up with itself, and the kind of concept for the marketing was all like, that was fairly solid. And then like started generating the images and or the videos, and I was like, but this isn't. And then he put the advert up at the end, and I was like, it's so clearly AI, it's so clearly false, and not just clearly false, but like the sort of genericism of what the images were. Like I felt as though like that's hardly the final advert, is it? Like it would make for a really banging sort of storyboard to kind of, if you wanted to kind of go to Beats and kind of, here, give me loads of money so that we can hire
proof of concept kind of thing.
Proof of concept kind of thing, and go. But I still can't think that this is like, you know, that people are still using this as actual final output. You know, as in like the Coca-Cola advert that was like, it was horrendous. Crazy. And like, it's the most panned video. Like in terms of YouTube comments, it was like thousands and thousands and thousands of people just going like, this is an absolute travesty. And so I think like, and like yourself, the general feeling is that a lot of people don't want this thing, like, or like, you know, it's just really offensive. But at the same time, as you kind of hinted there at the start, you also have like mega multi-million pound, trillion pound corporate backing that is actually trying to shove this kind of like, this has to be your future. And it's like, actually, no, thank you.
It just feels like a trap. It's really bizarre.
And there's a genuine kind of fight in terms of like artists and creativity. There's a general kind of like tribalism kind of thing, of like two sort of it veering off, and just people standing up against the wave of AI. But I'm still in this kind of way trying to think of anything like the tools. There's some amazing tools in terms of Photoshop and you know, generative expand and stuff like that. I've been using that loads, and occasionally there's like a remove tool now, which is really great, and you just dabble it and it'll kind of figure out. And so there's certain tools which are like, the power of AI looks like, oh wow. But but it's always when you actually have an original idea or thought kind of going on there. But if you let it do the kind of actual full thinking, it's like, it's a giant photocopy machine. So you only get, you're kind of getting this like, as you said, this kind of mean or median of like whatever ideas are possible. But
I some useful bits, like you're saying, like there's some useful tools and like pieces and like, I don't know.
Anyway,
like, in some cases there is like an answer to how to do something, like in as maybe a like slight hot take. I don't know. Like obviously creating text, like there is a structure in which words must appear to make sense.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying it's like, yep, great, let it like write creative writing. It's never going to be creative, but there is like an answer to creating something of like combinations of words, or an answer to something that, you know, is correct and will work. And same with like coding, like generating code, it will work in a sense, but it's not going to be creative. I think it's just like that understanding of like, you can make something that will work, but it won't be anything new. So it's, I don't know, like I do get there's like a kind of accessibility. It's not even accessibility, because it's just making it out of nothing and you don't learn anything.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a big old elephant to crack. There's too
many
levels.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to, generally bear witness to it, but see how this kind of plays out, because I do think there's like this momentum shift kind of happening that will be very similar to those days where, like, have you heard of this thing called the internet back in the very late 90s? I was just like, that'll just be a few nerds in the corner kind of thing, and then it kind of revolutions like every part of life. So I think something similar is happening, but the sort of future we're being sold, I don't think that's going to.
Yeah, I don't think it's as groundbreaking as they're making it seem like it's going to be. It'll be around forever, but
like even the kind of the sort of every update and every kind of these AI models, it's only kind of getting going back to that 1% better. It's all those models are kind of plateauing anyway, so they're kind of like they're still trying to sell this amazing piece of technology, but it's like, but they have to like keep burying more money into it. Anyway, I'm also fearful of the massive time bomb that's going to go off here. And most of the US economy is propped up by like these 5 or 6 tech companies that have invested so heavily in AI that it's like,
yeah,
it's
a lot of things pinning on it right now that feel.
Yeah, there's got to be away from the kind of ethical things. There's like real world economic apocalypses that could happen. Yeah. So the old AI, but I suppose just to lastly finish up, I suppose, do you think there's a real threat, or have you felt recently like work is slowing up, or people, even clients that you might kind of had before, you can see them kind of going off using AI or something like that? Have you felt any effects of it lately?
Not really. I really don't feel threatened by it, because I just like, again, I've never fed my own work into it, and I don't want to. I know someone else could, but I don't know. I just don't feel threatened by it at all. I don't think I've really noticed it affecting me at all. Yeah, no. I think the people that I want to work with are the people who do value something being handmade and know that it's been created by an artist, an illustrator, a designer by hand. I think that's I think there will be a big divide in like it's good enough versus like I want something truly unique and thought through and like human involved. I think that will be like the big split.
Yeah.
It's really not affected me at all, but it's just the presence of it everywhere just gives me a headache.
Yeah, it's seriously like, you can't escape it, man. But I've a lot of the woes and fears about it I share with you, and like just even when I did find out that like even a chat GPT search takes up like a bottle of water, it's like. And people are like, and it's more the fact of like, instead of actually using Google, people are just kind of typing stuff that they would use for Google into there. And I'm like, you don't need chat, like, where can I?
A search engine, or like, what do I feed my baby? And you're like, why do you not know? Like, what the hell?
But it's more like there's ChatGPT. There's more sort of like, if you have like deep kind of, it's more kind of like where do we go to eat or something in the restaurant?
There's making just like resourced out, and I just
instead of nobody's sort of realizing that the kind of environmental effects, and it's just like Google could have answered that for you, and it would have taken 1/10 of the energy and power
Yeah, and it's like even the fact that it gets itself wrong to
Yeah.
make you, or like it kind of gives you half the answer and then suggests, oh, did you mean this? To ask another question, to encourage you to ask more, to use up the credits so you can start paying for it, so that they can start eventually making some money because they're so deep in the sink with it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's such a screwed up like model.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And
But
let alone it like imagining things that just don't exist. Yeah.
but
So,
hey, yeah, I think like a lot of these things, it's like we sort of have to go through some sort of fire with this, and then eventually, like I do have great faith in the humans, our kind of general logic and rationality, that we won't all be fooled by this, and we will kind of it's making me value, as I said, authenticity far more, and clients and brands and etc. They should value authenticity more. It's only like the more it becomes flooded with, the more these kind of channels become flooded with AI, and it's the more value it's going to put on actual physical sketch than handmade stuff. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like you said about like vinyl records. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that where you could stream a whole album in really rich audio practically for free. You can stream like vast majority. Why would you, like, I was in the HMV, like my daughter's obsessed with the HMV, and I quite like it because I like treat myself to like a nice vinyl record now. So, but why would you spend like 30 quid on like 2 plastic discs that you're going to have to change over the album halfway through? It doesn't make any sense. But they still, like, vinyl records are still here. They're still here. People want. Well, and like even my daughter, like when she's obviously brought up in the streaming age, and she's a massive music fan, and like she got like money, but wanted to go, and even though she's like listened to these albums like 1,000 times, she wanted to go and get like CDs. She doesn't even have like a CD player, but she wanted like to get the physical, tangible thing that the artist kind of made, and like read the little lyric sheets and stuff. And she still wanted to have that sense of engagement with the artist, and like and she was so excited. I was like, it was so funny because we had to buy her like a tiny little CD player to just kind of like to actually play CDs on, because we didn't actually have like any CD player, but she just needed that sort of thing, that tangible thing to hold in your hand. And that kind of spoke to me of this kind of like, it doesn't like marketing or consumer wise, or like, watching these things like Dragon's Den, and you kind of question why people, who's going to buy that, or whatever. It does speak to this kind of slightly sense of this, our need as humans to kind of connect with one another and have these physical.
Like nice about the tangible, like
the connection.
Our little monkey brains understand touch more than like just thing you're seeing and like interacting with more. Yeah,
and even that way of like tactile printed stuff. I think that stuff and print marketing should have like more valuable in a work respect. Because that's what I keep saying to some clients, is just like, sometimes you'll cut through a lot of noise with like a really lovely printed thing that people can hold and feel as though they're part of the brand,
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of waffling.
Preach it.
Preach it. Fraser, that has been amazing, man. That has been good fun.
Yeah, no, it has. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, it was so nice to get your perspective on things, and especially coming from an illustrator background. Yeah. I think this podcast will be shadow banned by OpenAI's fucking bots. They'll kind of go in and
come at me.
They'll come in and give us like 1-star reviews.
Oh, no. You can crawl my website and shadow ban it, or steal all my artwork off my website.
Yeah. Come on, Sam Oakland, I can take it.
Bring it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, cool, dude. That was that was excellent, and great to have you on the show.